Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Here to talk all things hockey are your hosts, Brad Crisco, Ryan Hanna, and Evan Lobsinger.
Can I help you?
Evan has I feel like a school teacher, but Evan has a phone away rule. And we give him lots of warnings, and we just hit the record.
The phone is away.
We
can see it.
We hit the record button, and we give some time for whatever, editing reasons. And Evan immediately, just habitually, because there's a silence and nothing's happening, just phone out, head down.
I thought for sure that you had posted the picture of me with all the sour Skittles in my mouth.
Oh, I am going to be doing that. Yeah. I just
Okay.
don't have time.
Well, that's what I was looking up.
I
because
100% will be doing that
That's actually quite slow time for you.
to get something up there.
Yeah.
I just like hanging out with you guys so much, you know?
You don't need to lie to my face.
It seemed fun. It seemed like a thing to do.
I'm just feeling hurt.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
I see Brad, you didn't dress up. Evan, you didn't dress up. And I dressed up as Sad. So
To be fair, I was going to bring my Abe Lincoln costume, but I forgot that.
dude,
My laptop. What else did I forget? Oh, I forgot my coffee that I was supposed to drink before my hockey game. Like, I just didn't even eat dinner.
Mel
that's
asked,
great.
she's like, because we were talking about what Brad, you were going to come as a hockey player. Like, just
Well, I was going
Bert,
to come as a very specific hockey player.
You're gonna
Would have
tape
probably
over-
got me in trouble. But
you were going to tape over your tooth and you were going to be Bert.
yeah.
And Mel was like, is Evan going to dress up? And I was like, okay, it's feast or famine with Evan. Evan is either going to forget everything and just come dressed as himself, or he's going to come as like a full magician with top hat and like sawed in half assistant and everything. I was thinking of the Abe Lincoln costume too.
I've done a magician before.
I know. I've seen the pictures.
Oh, okay. Yes, if I have a Halloween party to go to, I am 100% on board, and I will put in a lot of effort to make sure I have a good costume. But there's nothing going on this year. Like, we had a golf tournament today, and our buddy's girlfriend made our costumes. Like,
How are they still golfing, man?
I don't know. It's a
Oh
problem.
my God.
yeah. So, yeah, I forgot my costume. That's basically it.
Yeah. And I text last minute, like, I'm like, are we doing this or no? Because I really don't feel like sitting here wearing a hockey helmet for the next hour and a half if I don't have to. And then you're like, I'm just wearing a Lions jersey. And Evan's like, I forgot my costume. I'm like, okay, great. I'm leaving my stuff at home.
Although, if for those watching on YouTube, you'll notice for the entire month of October, which nobody pointed out, and that's a little hurtful, unless some of you did, and I just didn't see it. We've had 2 pumpkins. We have Gordie Howe, the pumpkin with the number 9, and the other one is, thank you very much, the other one is a Red Wings pumpkin. But today I just turned around and the jack-o'-lantern face is lit because it's Halloween.
Do you have the Christmas ones too?
Oh, we're gonna be doing some Christmas
I'll
stuff.
see them on Thursday or whenever we record
Oh
next.
yeah. I'm the worst. I think everyone's gonna hate me after this, but November 1st, all Christmas is fair game to me.
I have to physically restrain Catherine from putting up the Christmas tree.
Tell Catherine come over here. She can help us decorate.
Is that just your birthday tradition now? You just wake up. I'm older. Time to meet Santa Claus.
Wait, when's your birthday?
Brad, damn
God
it.
damn it, Evan. How?
Is it today?
No.
No.
Is it today?
It's this week.
Oh, well, did I put in my This will be the true test of friendship if I put it in my calendar.
I think this is the 3rd year we've had this conversation in a row. So if
Oh,
it's not in there. It's not in
hold on.
there.
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh,
I thought maybe it was. That was the mortgage payment.
I think that's the 3rd year we've had this very.
I think I put both of your birthdays in every single year, and it doesn't carry over.
He puts it as a one-time
is it-
event.
Yeah.
Thursday or Friday?
It's Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Uh,
Are we recording Thursday this week? Can I have like some real fun with this or no?
this week will be Wednesday. I
Actually, my practice got canceled this Wednesday, so that actually works out. Screw your birthday.
I think it's funny to decide whether or not to figure out whether or not Evan's going to remember. I am desperately yearning for the day where you forget. And I know you remember. It's because Evan and I forgot your birthday one year. When I was a kid, my mom's going to kill me for telling this story. She doesn't listen to the podcast. We're going to get to hockey in a second here.
Yeah, this is the most off the rails beginning we've had in a long time.
When I was a kid, we all screwed up. It was a bad day for the Hanna family, and literally not until noon. I was young, right? I don't know. I was like, what, 19, 20? No, I'm kidding. I was like, young kid, like 9, 10 years old. And it was until noon. I think around noon or maybe even later, my mom was just cleaning the house top to bottom. And, you know,
That's not a good sign.
people, those of you with immigrant parents know, stomping around a little extra loud and like cleaning extra aggressively. And then it was like 1 or 2 p.m. and I looked up and I went, oh no, Mom. And she just like, she had that on me for years. And it wasn't until just very recently, I want to say last year, the year before, where my mom spent a little part of the day and we talked a couple of times and she forgot. And I was finally absolved. And then I think the very next Brad's birthday, I forgot. And now I'm in the hole again. And I'm just waiting for the day where Brad forgets mine.
See, here's where you're screwed. Now I have the cheat code for your birthday because I have a much more important birthday to deal with this week. I know. So I will always have one birthday.
Whose birthday?
Mother. It's Hank's birthday tomorrow.
I'm surprised he didn't tell me that.
Sorry, I like talking about my kids, you heartless asshole.
I can't. The number of times a year I say to myself, Catherine's birthday, September 12th, is way higher than it should be.
But yeah, so I got Hank's birthday tomorrow, and then I know it's always 3 days to Ryan. So there's no way I can ever forget Ryan's unless something goes catastrophically wrong, or 4 days, whatever it is.
Welcome to this spooky edition of the Winged Wheel podcast. I'm your host, sadly still, Ryan Hanna.
I'm the host that's born on July 17th, Brad Crisco.
Evan's putting that in his calendar right
now. And I'm Evan.
On this episode of the Winged Wheel podcast.
Whose birthday is June 13th, by the way, because I'm a good friend.
On this episode of the Winged Wheel podcast, we'll be talking about the Red Wings games that have happened. And surprise, surprise, 2 main topics are going to be Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider, and a lot of other notable stuff that happened in those games. We are going to be talking about developments in the ongoing Chicago Kyle Beach situation. And because Brad specifically requested we don't talk about it at all, we're going to cover a little bit of the Jack Eichel saga.
Update. He hasn't been traded. Moving on.
Brad's birthday's in my phone.
You only had time to do one?
Love you too, buddy.
I guess so.
You're really banking that
I
you'll
probably
remember?
did it this year, and then I was just waiting for when your birthday was.
Okay, Brad, promise me one thing. On my birthday, don't message in the chat. Just text me. I want to see if he remembers.
Okay.
Is it the 5th?
I That's amazing.
I only remember the fact that
That's amazing.
No, I don't remember the date. I just remembered that I missed it. Or I didn't know when it was.
We just talked about it.
But then
you were here.
But I remember Hank's birthday now. The 5th, right?
When you died.
Friday. No, Thursday. It's Thursday, the 4th. Personally, I blame work for this because I put everything into my calendar at work and I don't have to remember anything.
When your brain is inevitably donated to science, it'll be the biggest leap in our understanding of every kind of neurological condition possible, period.
It's the 4th. It's the 3rd. It's the 3rd. That's Thursday, November. Oh, that's 2022. No, I'll put it in for 2022.
You end up in November 2022.
Because I was seeing if I had it in my calendar for next year. And I have yours, Brad, but not Ryan's.
It hurts.
This is on record.
Oh, God.
This is on record the worst opening to an episode I think we've ever had. And I am not editing a single thing.
This is my favorite opening ever.
I hope those of you who are watching this on YouTube got some good entertainment out of our faces of pure
I'm crying.
amazement.
Oh my god.
I'll let it save to my phone right now either.
Before we get into hockey, because we will talk about hockey, we are going to first mention the Jamie Daniels Foundation, which is an organization we're very, very proud to support. The more we talk about substance use disorder, the faster we can end the stigma and get support to those in need. The Jamie Daniels Foundation is a children's foundation initiative, and it was established in memory of Jamie Daniels and founded by Jamie's father and Red Wings lead announcer Ken Daniels and Jamie's mother, Lisa Daniels Goldman. They strive to end the stigma of substance use disorder and provide support to those struggling with the disease or who are in recovery. To learn more and offer your support, visit jamiedanielsfoundation.org.
I have a theory. Evan's not that bad of a friend. He actually remembered that whole thing, just allowed us to let him use his phone for 5 minutes longer.
It's honestly not out of the realm of possibility here.
Because he's still not done on it.
No.
It won't save to my phone, Ryan, so it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Okay, Red Wings. So, folks, I'm so sorry. I know that was a little bit long of an intro, but forces of nature dictated what was going to happen today, and that's the spooky part of this episode.
It started because of a comment about Christmas decorations.
The Detroit Red Wings have played 2 games against some pretty skilled teams since we last spoke. 29th against Florida and the 30th against Toronto. Both of them losses. 1-goal losses, and the Florida game was an overtime loss. So let's first talk about the Florida game here. And I think this is a theme for both games. The NHL, the Red Wings hung in against 2 of the most talented teams on paper. I mean, Florida undefeated, Toronto massively underperforming. In the NHL, way longer than they would have in the past. At both points in that game, or at points in both games, I should say, I saw what was happening, and I was like, the Red Wings of last season or the season before would have collapsed. And they hung in there, and they scrapped it out, and they came back a couple times.
Yeah, it was, neither game had a strong start. But like you said, they battled back. These are the games, now we've been talking about this for years, and these are the first 2 real games that really hammer home what we've been talking about. In a rebuild, it's okay to lose if the losses look like that, not like what they usually look like the last few years. Because the reason the Red Wings lost is simply because they were a less talented team. The top guys on Detroit went blow for blow with both teams, both games, even with Bertuzzi out for the second game. The young guys performed exceptionally well, including one we didn't even expect to see play this weekend. And at points in those games, the Red Wings' depth got exposed, especially in the Leafs game. When you allow 5 goals, obviously, no matter how well you play, a lot of things have to go wrong to allow 5 goals. And the bottom half of the Red Wings lineup, by and large, stood out like a sore thumb because the bottom half of those 2 teams do not look like the bottom half of the Red Wings team.
Yeah, and that's what wins you cups.
And that's what happens. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. Like, nobody went into this season. Like, I was being the optimistic one in the season preview, and I predicted them to finish 6th. So clearly the talent disparity, though better than last year, was still going to be their downfall this year. So the top line didn't get caved. The young players didn't get caved. The good players on the team didn't get caved. It was just more talented teams being more talented. The Red Wings probably were the better teams in terms of effort, both games. So yeah, as far as losses go, collecting 1 out of a possible 4 points, good. Like, I can walk away from both those games feeling good.
The Florida game, I need to talk about this to start. And there was other things that happened here that were noteworthy, but the Florida game involved one of the greatest plays I think we've seen from the Red Wings as a team in literal years. It will be one of the most memorable plays of a generation. That's not an understatement. It was that crazy sequence towards the end of the game. Like the last 5-6 minutes of the third period. Florida's up 2-1, and they take a shot from the point. Adam Ernie blocks it, and the puck moves around a little bit, and they take another shot from the point, and Adam Ernie, hobbled after the first shot, blocks that one too. Then Robbie Fabry blocks a shot. Then there's a Nedeljkovic save, and then Robbie Fabry blocks another shot, and there's another Nedeljkovic save, and then Danny DeKeyser attempts to clear it, and his stick explodes on him, and the puck stays in. More block shots, more insane saves. It was the it was the gutsiest display of hockey I've seen from the Red Wings as a team. I had so much, I could have run through a wall. Every time I watch, it's playing on my screen right now. I'm ready to run through a wall for this. And if there's ever anyone who's saying, is this a team that cares? Has Blashill lost the room? Whatever. Like, that team was playing their heart out because they were down 1 goal against the best team in the NHL, and they truly gave themselves a chance to win. Everyone put their bodies on the line. Ernie was out the next game, and I'm sure he would have blocked a third shot if it came his way.
Adrenaline's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
But no, if that scenario happens in a playoff game, it goes down with Zetterberg and Helms like the shift.
Yep.
Like those moments in like a key situation where it's like, yeah, that's why this team won a cup. Unfortunately, it happened in game like 9 of the season or game 8 of the season, so it's not going to go down as one of those moments. But that was the type of moment it was. It just, was a regular season game against Florida, so whatever.
I think when the Red Wings find their first point of success, whether it's like winning a playoff round or making the playoffs or, whatever it might be, people are going to point back to that play. And they're going to, like, whenever they show highlight packages of the Red Wings rebuild, that play is going to be in it. Like, those full 45 seconds.
It's part of the snowball effect. Like, that's one piece of it rolling along. That's all I got.
Hockey's an emotional sport. Like, hockey is...
Guys don't forget that stuff.
No.
In the locker room. Whether Adam Ernie and Robbie Fabry are there 2, 3, 5 years down the road, like, guys are still there will remember that, and that will leave a lasting impression on them.
Fans too. Like, let's cut to the chase here. Attendance is down everywhere in the league, and Detroit's among one of the hardest hit by early numbers. And it's like, the pandemic sucked. A lot of people's wallets, to say the least, got hurt in a bad way. A lot of people are still struggling to make ends meet. This has not been an incredibly entertaining team for a long time. So to have that arena, the noise was apparently so loud it sounded like it was being distorted, on their feet cheering for a defensive play.
Yeah, on a ship, for all intents and purposes, they were getting caved defensively.
That's old school Red Wings hockey. That's old school Red Wings energy. That's the kind of stuff that would happen in the Joe that people would talk about for years later. So that shift just, I think that's the first time I said it and I meant it when I was like, no, this team's different. Like, this is a team coming out of the rebuild now. Like, there's the clientele, there's the personnel and the players that you have to change, but there's also the mentality of the team. And for a long time, we were worried about that losing mentality sticking with the team. Not concerned about that at all. This team is playing 110 lights out every single night, and that play is the absolute perfect epitome of it.
Didn't hurt that they tied the game 3 minutes later.
It was Fabry, right? That was the
Suter.
Yes, Suter
Seider,
tipped in the Seider shot.
Yeah.
Suter tipped in the Seider shot, and I wish it was just the Seider shot that had gone in, because then we would have predicted Seider's first goal. The OT loss kind of stung, but it's like you said, Brad, if you're going to lose...
Huberdeau saucer pass to Barkov for a backhand shelf. Yeah, that's like, okay, what do you do?
Yeah. Lucas Raymond Bobrovsky was massive that game.
He's been unreal this year.
100%. A goalie as talented as Bobrovsky doesn't just lose their talent. Like,
No.
You go to a new system, it's going to take some time to adjust, whatever it might be. Every elite goalie has down years. Florida's in a good spot with him. Still worth the $10 million? Probably not, but whatever. If they win a cup, they're not going to care.
Yeah. They got Shane Wright on or Spencer Knight on
It's like, what happened?
Spencer Knight on ELC, so that helps.
Yeah. Lucas Raymond on a power play entering the zone from his own blue line, skates through and splits literally all 4 Panthers defenders, but Bobrovsky came up with a huge glove save. But that was like...
I almost fell off my chair on that rush.
That was the ESPN game. How do you pronounce his name? Buchagras?
John Buchagras, yeah.
Okay, nothing replaces Ken and Mick. I wish Ken could have called a lot of the moments of the last 2 games, but I think he did a good job calling that crazy play. It's definitely a unique style of calling the play, but I didn't mind it at all. I thought it was fun.
I'm just happy it's not NBC. You could call the game. It's fine.
Oh, I could not. Talking for long periods of time is part of my job. Absolutely not. Anyhow, the Red Wings lose in OT to the Panthers. The same day, was it? No, the next day was when Michigan lost to MSU. We're not going to talk about that too much.
Why did you even bring it up?
Because I have notes that I take about throughout the week. And anyways.
That shouldn't have been a note.
I think we're supposed to bully you now.
You're a Michigan fan.
I don't really watch anything other than Red Wings.
Then you don't get to bully me. Piss off. And if you're choosing for the first time, you're not. Anyway.
I'm happy we had the Carly interview before that game.
Carly's on with State. Yeah. Damn it.
I think Daniela is too.
Oh, God.
I think I saw something about that.
The Red Wings went into Toronto. Obviously, that means Tyler Bertuzzi couldn't play. Adam Ernie didn't slot into the lineup. How long Adam Ernie's going to be out is, I think, something worth keeping an eye on here. Joe Veleno called up last minute.
Guys, I don't know if you heard it on the broadcast, but he drove with Steve Yzerman from Detroit.
He sure did.
Yeah, right.
Did you guys hear that on the broadcast that he drove with Steve Yzerman from Detroit?
Yeah.
4-hour drive with Steve Yzerman to the game.
Well, actually, Steve Yzerman picked up Joe Veleno and they drove to the game together.
I think I heard that on the broadcast.
Yeah, if you didn't hear that.
4 hours.
Well,
it's a good thing that's the only note they took about the Red Wings team that night.
did you watch the Canadian broadcast?
Oh my God, it was so bad.
Yeah, it's the Leafs, man.
It's like they just pulled it. I won't get into it, but it may as well be just a Leafs home broadcast.
So I have center ice. That's how I watch all the Red Wings games. But anytime they play a Canadian team, I have no choice but to watch the Canadian broadcast.
Oh, you suckers. I'm with Ken and Mick every time.
I know. I hate it, but whatever. My wife works with telecom. It's a better deal. But
so she's the one who should be yelling at.
Exactly. I'll give the Hockey Night in Canada broadcast credit for the fact that they talked about the Leafs for 80% of the games. The 20% about the Wings, they were very complimentary. They weren't like brushing. Oh, this is like how a lot of national media still. This Red Wings team, they're bad, free W, yada, yada, yada. This is totally not sustainable and a complete fluke that they're 4-3-2. But they're like, no, team looks different this year. They're good. Look at all their good players. Look at Seider, look at Raymond. And now we're going to talk about the Leafs for the next 15 minutes. And the Red Wings scored twice in that time.
Yeah, I saw the highlights of the game. It was basically like, oh, the Leafs scored. And then all of a sudden it was like 3 Detroit goals later and they're showing another Leafs highlight.
Oh, yeah. Highlight packages are the worst.
Oh,
No,
worst.
I'll never forget the one. I want to say it was on SportsCenter like 2-3 years ago. Look up whatever game it was. The last time the Red Wings
Only
beat the
you
Leafs,
would remember this, by the way.
because I've never seen a highlight pack like this for any game ever. I want to say it was a 4-3 Red Wings win over the Leafs. They showed all 3 Leaf goals, none of the Red Wings goals. They didn't even mention that the Red Wings won other than when they put up the final box score at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I just watched that with like my jaw agape, just like,
That's on brand.
what? What?
That's for Brad. Yeah, his jaw is usually dangling a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard. It's effort to keep it up.
Mo Seider that game. First of all, he had that one giveaway, but
He had a few.
before we
giveaways.
get to that, the way he carried the puck through that zone, who was it that he dangled?
I don't know who it was, but it was like
it was simple, but it was
the toe drag looked more dramatic the first time than it actually was. He literally completely deked that guy out of his jockstrap by using nothing but his head, eyes, and body.
it was a body fake. Yeah.
He just went, I'm gonna pass it over here, and then just kept skating straight.
Yep.
And Buddy was gone.
The way he moved the puck up the ice, he dragged the puck into his body. Everyone was just kind of like, "Whoa, Mo, did you see that?" That was it was a clever little play, and it reminded you that Mo's not just good like once he's in the zone. Like in transition, the guy can do some work
He's
too.
very elusive.
He
for
is.
a guy of his size.
He is. His stick handling and his like how smooth he is through the zone. You wouldn't think so for a guy that big.
I still remember the first rookie development camp after he got drafted. That was the first thing that jumped out. We're like, whoa, that's a tool we didn't know he had.
Mm-hmm. And then Mickey Redmond, I think I like how they're focusing on the little parts of Raymond and Seider's game where like any other player does this. It's not a highlight, but they're showing how mature these kids are because they're 19, 20 years old and they're already doing these things. So Seider picks up the puck, beats Marner to it and protects the puck against Marner and makes a safe play with not right now, but typically a world-class player on his back. So that's the kind of stuff you love to see. The spin around blind pass across your own blue line on a power play to give Toronto a shorthanded giveaway. Yeah, that's the stuff you don't love to see. The instant redemption by the.
Did you learn that in the AHL with Jonathan Ericsson last year?
Yeah, maybe. Well, that's that veteran leadership.
You think Jonathan Ericsson would ever attempt anything even close to a spinorama?
But he did redeem it right after by being the primary assist on the Zadina rip from his spot on the power play. So Seider showed why you shouldn't expect rookies to be perfect, but I think still on balance, he's displaying why he's Detroit's best defenseman right now.
Last night's game against Toronto was a perfect case study. Mo Seider specifically was a perfect case study in why elite players should be allowed to take chances and not get punished for it. Because if, let's say, Troy Stetcher tries that, yeah, you staple his ass to the bench because what are you thinking? But Mo Seider, in my opinion, had 3 pretty terrible turnovers that game. That one, and then 2 in his own defensive zone, 1 right in front of the net, where it's like, can't do that, Mo. But he also made 4 or 5 plays that generated something that otherwise wouldn't have been there if it was any other defenseman but him with the puck. So even though, in my opinion, that was probably his overall weakest game of the season, he was still a significant net positive on the game because of what he can do. Mm-hmm. And that is, other than Larkin, who was the last player we had that you could say would make 3 pretty terrible mistakes in one game, and you're still like, yeah, good game.
Yeah. Still came out as one of the Red Wings' better players that game.
Still.
Zadina got that goal, which I thought was important. He got just enough space, ripped it, and that was, I think, it's funny because there was this little, and it started because there was that ranking that just accidentally didn't have Zadina at first and then had him at 23 for a redraft.
Which 2018 redraft. Philip Zadina goes 23rd overall. Okay. I mean, he's what, 6th or 7th in scoring out of his draft?
Yeah.
Can I go on a bit of a tangent here about this? Please?
Right now? Yeah.
I'll make it quick.
Okay.
Because this is the hill, because these people have been in my mentions a lot for the last 2 weeks, and I don't know why. I can't sit here and watch 9 games of Philip Zadina this year and all of last year and come away with the opinion, oh, Philip Zadina is bad, he's a bust. What games are the people who are very adamant anti-Philip Zadina, what games are you watching? Even the games he doesn't show up on the score sheet, I can go, he was good. He was a net positive on that game. Sure, he missed the net a little too much, which is definitely a problem he has. But he also generated like 9 scoring chances or whatever the hell it is. He's on pace for 47 points this year. Like, it's not like he's not producing. He's good defensively, one of the Red Wings' better players in transition. He's an excellent facilitator of the puck in the offensive zone. And yeah, when he gets time and space, he can still rip it. Like, this is a top 5 player on this team. Like, the only 4 players I can say that are definitely better than Philip Zadina are Larkin, Bertuzzi, Raymond, Seider. There's a couple other players you can definitely make an argument for, but Zadina is very much in that conversation.
I think Fabry's been better.
I don't know. I'll hear the argument, and you could give me a very good argument, and by the end of it, I can go, yeah, I fully agree with you. But it's close enough that I could probably make an equally compelling argument the other way.
Fabry kind of plays that game where he's like ultra talented, and he's a bit of a honey badger. So it's like more obvious that what he's displaying out there, where Zadina has like such like a subtlety and an art to his game that like
Fabry is a honey badger.
Yeah, Zadina plays slower, but he makes
skilled.
He makes more. He's got a higher completion percentage on his plays, if you want to call it that, which ironically enough, one of Fabry's flaws that I've really picked out this year is dude can't hit the net. Like, he should have had 3 against Toronto and he just couldn't hit the damn net.
Here's my thing with Philip Zadina. I agree completely with people are getting too caught up on any mistake and immediately using it to write off Philip Zadina. It's wild because he's actually a very good player and he's still extremely young. And we're not even talking about this like in the Michael Rasmussen sense where like he's still extremely young. He could still be useful. Zadina's useful now and he's getting better. Like, it's almost akin to, and it's not a direct translation, so please don't think I'm comparing the players. But remember in Toronto, think of every one of their young guys, save for Matthews. It's like they didn't score 100 goals or 100 points on day one, and they want to write off Nylander, they want to write off Marner, they want to write off Riley. It happened.
They were trying to write off Nylander till he was like 23, 24.
Yeah,
and now he's arguably their best player this year. So like, come on.
But
they got Jason Spezza,
who's here. I do think Zadina, and none of this is to the argument that he's a bust, like absolutely not, but things he needs to work on in his game. I do think there are times where the decisions he makes does lead to a turnover more often than it should, or there's just kind of like this weird errant pass where you're like, Phil, you're smarter than that.
I don't see a lot of that.
Not all the time, but he gets in slumps, and the missing the net is one thing.
Yeah, his finishing's pretty much the only thing that gets me, that irks me about him right now.
Which is hilarious because that was what his the big thing to his game was, is he fills the net.
That might be.
So it's funny to see like the other side of his game is so much more polished, and the thing that he was supposed to be excellent at is the one thing he's struggling the most with at the NHL level.
Because the one thing, getting to your point though, because I've heard the argument from other people that are like, yeah, well, he had 3 turnovers tonight. And my counter argument to that is when you actually watch, Filip Zadina has the puck on his stick almost more than any other Red Wing. So when you have the puck that much, you're not going to bat 1,000.
And that's what I'm getting to. He is so talented and you can see those skills. Like if Rasmussen, or let's even go to someone who wasn't on the team. Like when I used to see Jonathan Ericsson make poor decisions with the puck, I'm like, oh, why are you even the one carrying it up in transition? Like that's a failure of the coach, the system, and the player. Like that's whole through and through. But Zadina does have the skill to, even if he's not doing it all the time, drive the play. The skill is all there. So if he's not completely refined right now, man, I'm fine with it. Work it like as long as the team's working on it. I think people are just getting too hung up because they're seeing what Raymond and Seider are doing, and they shouldn't be, but they're comparing it to Zadina.
How old is Zadina? 21?
21.
Yeah, like give me a.
He's 21.
Like the thing that he's struggling with the most is the hardest thing to do in the NHL, and that's score goals. So if that's the biggest gripe I have with Filip Zadina, like, well, great.
I have a very successful friend who was still at age 21 pissing the bed drunk, like literally pissing the bed drunk.
Most of my friends.
If you're not pooping your pants in your late 20s, what are you really doing?
Yeah, but and we're talking about Zadina's finishing ability not being where he wanted. The day after, he had one of the most ridiculous snipes of the season. Like, that shot was unreal.
Does Filip Zadina need to put some facets of his game together? Yes. Am I concerned? Absolutely. Furthest from.
And I've also seen people in my mentions coming to the thing. It's like, well,
oh my God, Brad talking about his mentions. Anyone who's in his mentions, go in them more until he stops talking about his mentions.
It's funny though, because I don't respond to 90% of them because there's just too many.
There's one thing, Brad, and I have in common.
But I'm putting it in the memory bank for podcast content. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, well, if you hold him to his draft position, he's under. If you redraft that draft, he's going 6th or 7th right now. Like, yeah, sure. Farabee and Hughes behind him. Like Hughes, you're definitely picking ahead of him. Maybe Farabee, but you're also probably picking him ahead of Kotkaniemi and Hayton. So it balances out.
Definitely.
So he's probably still 6th and a Red Wing in a redraft. So I don't even know why anybody cares about that.
If Filip Zadina was supposed to be the franchise first line winger who's gonna score 50 goals out in his rookie campaign, that's one thing. But like Filip Zadina can easily slot into the top 6 and continue to grow because he's so young. Like no issues at all.
And it's like there was a lot of excitement for Zadina, and this is actually a question I got, and it's like, you guys were over the moon about Zadina. Why are you now like saying, oh, just top 6 and not like great first line forward in the NHL?
Still could be.
It's like he still could be. And also remember, Filip Zadina was the first good player that the Red Wings drafted at that spot. Like that was, if you think about players who were brought in for the rebuild, Filip Zadina is heading that group. He was chronologically the first one because.
Yeah, who were the first round picks before him? Rasmussen, Cholowski, Svechnikov. Like it was he's in a different tier. And looking at how all their careers progressed, he's still very much in a different tier.
Speaking of the Filip Zadina draft, Joe Veleno comes in for his first game of the season. He played 5 games last year, I think it was, 5 or 6.
Scored in his 5th game. And his very next NHL game, I think it was, which was this game, scores again. Great feed by Rasmussen, picks up the puck.
That Nemesnikov, I'll call it a pass for now. Oh,
yeah.
Thank God I have my Lulu joggers on.
Man, I hate how comfy those clothes are.
Yeah.
He was Joey on the spot. I can't remember who it was on Twitter, but they were like, Veleno means poison or venom in Italian. So his new name is now Joey Poison.
Joey Venom sounds better. Why did we go with poison?
I kind of like Joey Poison better.
It rolls off the tongue very nice.
Yeah. Joey Venom just seems branded now with the Venom movies.
Fair.
Yeah. Scores in his first game back. And not only that, he had a gorgeous, like, inside-out dipsy doodle, undressed. I can't remember who it was. Nylander.
He stole William Nylander's soul
to give it back to Nemesnikov for the goal, which made it, I can't remember, the score was
4-3.
Yeah.
Toronto had just scored to take a 2-goal lead, and Veleno's like, nah, enough of that.
So Veleno reminded us very quickly why he was actually good enough to make this team, but just with the talent in front of him, it made more sense to have him in Grand Rapids to start.
So this circles back, and I'll still stand on the same opinion I had at the beginning of the season. If the reason they sent him to Grand Rapids was for development of Joe Veleno's game, and they think that's truly what's best for him, sure, fair, can't argue it. Everybody has different opinions on development, and if they think that's what's best for him, good. If they thought he didn't earn a spot, they were just lying. And last night just proved, no, he belongs on this team. He is talented enough right now. He should be in that lineup ahead of conservatively 4, optimistically 6 guys on that roster, on that forward group. Like, so
You can play in the top 6, I think. No problem.
he could. I wouldn't say he would thrive in that role right now where he's at in his development, but he could absolutely tread water.
He'd be a real good third line winger right now.
Exactly what I'm thinking. That third line should be his right now. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of people who are still on the Rasmussen train, which I love your optimism. I'm not. I would 1,000% give Veleno that spot on the third line.
Oh, I don't give him the center spot. It's hard. I think you try him out, and if he falters, stick him back on the wing where he's going to thrive. Make sure he's up to NHL speed.
Yeah, it is hard. That might be why Rasmussen's struggling so much with it.
Someone's got to be the sacrificial center.
I'm an advocate for fourth line center Michael Rasmussen when Veleno is ready for that.
Yeah,
third
no,
line center
I'm
role.
totally fine with that. Rasmussen, what he's good at, works on a fourth line.
I'm fully on board with as injuries dictate, and they might be
He's
kicking
gonna
up
play
here.
every Canadian game.
Oh yeah, like Bertuzzi's out every Canadian game.
Like, but unironically, or not in a funny way.
How long of a drive is it with Steve Yzerman to Vancouver, do you think?
a bit more than 4 hours.
I think so.
He
They'll let us
will
know,
have
though.
more knowledge than the Encyclopedia Britannica by the end of that road trip.
They'll have helicopters following him the whole way, just live streaming to our Twitter feeds.
Please.
So the Red Wings ultimately lost that game. They had a couple pretty crappy errors. The Red Wings are coming off a back-to-back where they traveled in between, not far, but they did travel. They played Florida the night before. They're playing a Toronto team who are now waking up, I guess. Toronto looked more rested and poised. Nick Leddy gifted Mitch Marner his first goal of the year, which breaks my heart.
Mark Stahl had a rough one yesterday.
Yeah, it was altogether not the best game, but there were still points. Still, the same thing that we said. That was a scrappy Red Wings. Like they hung in there when
Mark
they would have
Stahl's my
collapsed.
favorite Red Wing.
Oh, dude, 100% with you. Like he is so fun to watch.
He's got rock star shit. That is for sure.
Okay, Mo Seider has swagger. Mark Stahl he's like Danny Heatley.
Yeah.
Fucking rocks.
Clappers from the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my favorite player.
Yeah. I guess we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that Philip Hronek had a really good game yesterday.
That goal,
Oh man.
if that missed the net, that was killing someone in the seventh row. Like that was an absolute bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Philip Hronek needs. Philip Hronek needs to do 2 things to be effective on the Red Wings, and he did both of them very well yesterday. He needs to pass the puck effectively and at the right time, and he did that. He was more patient with the puck, and he made better decisions with it. He didn't have a perfect game, and not every pass was perfect, but nobody's going to have a perfect game with that. And when given the opportunity, he needs to hit that puck so hard it enters another dimension, and he did that.
I thought he's had a couple good games back, and I'm happy he got on the board. Him and Zadina getting those goals, I think, important.
Yeah, it was good for the Phillips.
Yeah. Okay. Quick little bit of trivia. Victor Hedman, Jonathan Huberdeau, JT Miller, Nathan McKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, Neil Pionk, and Moritz Seider. What do they all have in common?
They're tied for the league lead in assists.
They're tied for third in assists in the NHL with 8. So Moritz Seider is technically ranked 10th, but tied for third in the NHL with assists. He is a rookie. He is a child. If you look at his face, you'll get... That included some pretty good forwards. Your rookie point scoring leaders are still Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider. Raymond with the late assist to get back up.
I love that stupid little tweet I had. It's like, oh, someone caught up to Lucas for the scoring lead.
No.
It's Mo. And then in the third period, Raymond's like, no, I want it back.
He's taking it back.
The only thing that looks rookie about Moritz Seider is his face.
He's got
Seriously, if you did not know he was a rookie, you would think he's got that pro game already. Like, he's got uber confidence. He's cocky as hell, but in the best kind of way. Like, if you didn't look at his face, you'd have no idea that he's that young.
He's it's a really good sign that this team is actually fun again. National media, whether it be on Twitter or broadcast or whatever it is, they're picking up on the Red Wings more and more. So and a lot of people only see Moritz Seider's face, like, you know, gifs, pictures, whatever. And then a lot of people are like, oh my God, Moritz Seider's colossal. And it's funny that like
if you just looked at his face, he's 5'8" at best.
Yeah.
Then you see him on the ice and he is ginormous and is a pro.
No wonder, like, they who was it? Not Tyler Johnson. Someone really short was like trying to wrestle him. DeBrincat, yeah. DeBrincat was like trying to wrestle him, and Moritz Seider was just laughing. I was like, no wonder they have the balls to do it. They think they're looking at a kid.
He wasn't even afraid of Victor Hedman. Why would he ever be afraid of Alex DeBrincat?
Oh man, Lucas Raymond, if he finished that game without the assist, I still would have said, like, go look at his expected goals for, or just watch him play. Either one. Still,
it is kind of creepy how much he kind of reminds me of Marner.
What Marner should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, like, he does everything.
Kind of creepy, actually, in the best kind of way.
His scoring pace, Prashant showed us something. I don't know if he posted this. I imagine he will, but like scoring pace based on, you know, first games or rookie points, like, he's kind of doing close to what Steve Yzerman did. And they showed that on the broadcast. Like, he's on pace with what Steve Yzerman is doing through these first 9 games.
And Yzerman did it in the 80s.
Yeah, when goalies didn't know how to butterfly, and like,
they weren't legally allowed into the arena until the second period.
We're what, 9 games in? So if we adjust for inflation on goal scoring in the 80s,
he's got a 50-goal season.
Yeah, we get to add it. I think it's an extra 6 points to Raymond's total right now.
Yeah.
And also a testament to how good Raymond's been playing, how well he's been playing. Yesterday was his 9th game, and I've seen zero talk about whether or not he's going to play the next game.
Well, they have one game. They have a game on the 2nd against Montreal in Montreal. So,
I thought yesterday was game 9.
Yesterday was game 9.
Yeah. So
if we don't, can you imagine he's not in the lineup on Tuesday? They just fly him home.
Yeah.
I'll lose it.
No, he's staying.
At Tuesday we burn his ELC, which means he's up.
I'll even be
all
more
year.
pissed because we'll have to do an emergency podcast.
Which would just be screaming.
Emergency podcast, and not even for a reason to be happy. That would be the grumpiest Evan that we've ever seen.
I'm doing it from the hot tub.
Yeah. And all 3 of us are doing it from the hot tub.
No.
Yeah.
No. We can't risk all of the equipment. We'll just risk mine.
Oh, okay. Evan today realized, or I let slip to him, that I do actually have his address, and the look of horror on his face.
It's just you and Everett. Those are the only 2.
All right. I'll start bidding between you 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whoever's taking the lowest price, I'll give it to you.
The Red Wings have Montreal on Tuesday in Montreal, which means no Tyler Bertuzzi, which means probably similar lines to what we've seen. Yeah, not much else to say. Jordan Osterley slotted in. I didn't notice him much.
Which is probably a good thing.
The Danny DeKeyser thing is still killing me. I don't know. Maybe we hit 500 games and this isn't going to matter anymore, but that's just still is what it is. And yeah, they got Montreal, Boston, and Buffalo on this little road trip.
3 juggernauts.
Okay, speaking of Buffalo, 5 minutes. Not even. Jack Eichel.
There's 5 minutes of conversation here?
About Jack Eichel?
Did I miss something? Well, the answer is yes. But
well, you're supposed to help me milk it to piss off Brad.
Here's what's going to happen, because I specifically requested to not talk about this because nothing's happened. But since this is a Buffalo conversation, for every minute we give to the Buffalo Sabres, I'm going to talk about the Buffalo Bills. So go.
No, absolutely not, sir. That deal is being struck down. Being voted against 2-1 here.
Yes, I agree.
Nope.
Do you see how he flinched when I got my hand?
No, I thought we were doing like a knuck bump or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now we're
me and Evan against Brad. The rumors, not rumors. Jack Eichel heating up, not heating up. What we know,
I think that Josh Allen beat the Dolphins again today.
I believe
as
that's
you were.
Josh Mickelson.
Yeah.
What was
pointed
up
to
with
the
that?
Cavs today too.
Oh man.
Yeah, like Phil
I'm
Mickelson.
completely out on this conversation.
So Phil Mickelson actually gave the Bills like a pregame speech today.
You notice how when Brad talks with his hands, he's always doing boobies. Like comes underneath.
If I
like
do
he's
it down
holding up
here,
boobs.
it probably looks like I'm doing something way worse.
People spend a lot of time watching Brad's physical demeanor, like on YouTube. They're like they'll like timestamp. They'll be like 45:02. Brad's knee. What the f, man?
It's gonna be the new planking.
Yeah.
If I have to sit here for an hour and a half, like you get stiff. You got to stretch out the joints.
Oh,
like,
you get stiff. Gross, dude. Grow up.
I specifically like left no pause between stiff and stretching out the joints because I knew you would make that joke, and I was hoping to keep talking over it.
Brad, you specifically leave no pause between any of your words, actually.
Because I always know there's like some sort of 12-year-old level joke coming, so I can't leave the openings for them. But
Anyways.
Phil Mickelson is the reason the Bills won today.
Vegas and Calgary seem to be the only two teams who we can say with any relative sense of certainty that are in on Jack Eichel. I actually don't care about that. I'm at the point where I want that grievance filed because the dude needs surgery. Like, it's insane now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they waited so long. Like, they say the team and players in constant conversation. Well, clearly, it's not going anywhere. Like,
no one's
file
backing
this
off.
Immediately.
The part I still don't understand from this from Buffalo scenario is it's clear he's never playing another game for them. So why do they care anymore?
Because there's an assumed risk when you are trading for that player. Whether you agree or not, that surgery is still going to be considered an assumed risk by a lot of teams, not all. And so Buffalo wants to maximize value because here's the thing. What is the direct parallel you can draw from any other team to trading Jack Eichel? For Edmonton, it's trading Draisaitl or McDavid. For Toronto, it's trading Austin Matthews. Like, this is a big player you're losing.
You're right. You're objectively right. But my argument is Buffalo's actually hurting their value by not letting him do it because whatever team's trading for him at this point, they know.
Oh, you're saying he's not going to back down.
Yeah, he's getting the disc replacement surgery. So you're getting a Jack Eichel with the disc replacement, not the fusion. So just let him do it. He'll be healed up faster, and then that team is going to get him for more games. Like,
maybe they really don't believe he'll be healed up.
Like, I don't know what, like, this makes no sense to me from Buffalo's standpoint. Yeah, I understand there's risk with the surgery. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm a doctor going, oh, I can definitively say that's better, but it doesn't matter because Eichel said I'm only doing that. So if he's never playing for the Sabres again, just let the poor bastard do it.
And the crazy thing is he's practicing and like moving at full speed, and everyone's saying he's looking really good right now. Like, he just can't play contact hockey. Like, so just let him get the surgery. Everybody move on. Let it all get out of there. Like, it's
hold on. Here's my theory. I don't know this. Is Kevin Adams Canadian?
I think this is a Pagula thing, right?
No, I think this might be an Olympics thing. I think we've got a Canadian sleeper agent.
No, he's American.
Oh my God! So he's
I'm
screwing both his teams over.
If I'm Hockey USA, I am livid because you need every piece you can get on that team.
Well, the new team won't let him go to the Olympics now, right? Like, how does that work?
Almost no chance. I don't even think if he gets the surgery tomorrow, he'll even be ready in time, from what I remember, right? Because it's a 3-month recovery.
He's just waiting for Gwyneth Paltrow's fall line to come out and get the neck power crystal.
The goop. That name, man, kills me. Anyway,
I still have the picture of her when they launched that line saved on my phone because
of course you do.
Hold on.
No, I don't want to see it.
No, you have to.
How is this podcast featuring goop right now?
That was like 10 years ago. How do you have that on your phone?
How did you scroll back and find that?
No, because I literally have a folder in my phone for dumb pictures.
Goop photos.
Like, this was the picture.
Oh my, you pulled that up so fast.
Because I have a folder of shit like this saved. Just dumb. This is where I pulled that Zadina picture from, Ryan. This folder of just dumb shit. But look at that face is people trust with their health.
I'm leaving this house with more questions than I
Look
thought
at
I
that
would.
1,000-yard stare. This picture is the scariest picture on the internet.
None of us on this episode are drunk. I need you to know that. I have not had a single drink today. Actually, Evan's having a beer right now on air, but it's like he's had half of it. It cost him, I think, $20, he told us, so he's really milking that.
I have kids, so I've got like 2,500 pictures on my phone. If I don't separate these, I'll never find anything.
My final point about Jack Eichel, believe it or not, I do have one still.
This is my fault. I brought up goop.
You did. You're doing all this today.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that picture wasn't horrifying, knowing that she sells health products.
Jack Eichel, I understand I actually really do understand Buffalo's point for the most part, and I understand the league saying that they're not going to get involved because there's precedent that's going to be set here with the CBA, and you can't. It's Gary Bettman's job to protect the owners, whether we like it or not, and they don't want power to go away as per the CBA. And hey, it's written in there. Shame on Donald Fair for not doing a better job of negotiating that thing, and for other stuff, obviously. I do think the situation has gotten to the point where it's damaging the game in terms of the product on ice.
There's a loss not only to Buffalo, but there's a loss to the teams where Buffalo's going to play because like it or not, Jack Eichel sells tickets. He sells merchandise. He leads to more people buying the $20 beers at the concession stand. Like
100%.
This is a league-wide loss, but the majority is to Buffalo.
Yeah, and here's the thing, because Ryan was talking about this being a Pegula thing. Even if it is, they're still wrong.
That was me.
Okay, well, either way.
Brad forgot one thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you idiot.
It's still dumb on the Pegula's part because they're continually damaging their brand every day they don't do this. They're reducing Jack Eichel's trade value, which hurts their brand long term because they get maybe one less marketable piece to come back in the trade. Like, everything involved in, like, I actually agree with Buffalo holding out to get top dollar because your point of, like, you're trading your franchise superstar, you can't shortchange that. I agree with that. But they are doing everything else to hurt that. Like, if you're trying to maximize value, you're making it worse every day.
Well, we'll see where this goes.
Nowhere. Nothing. It's never going to change. It's like that goddamn Mitch Marner contract. And we're going to talk about it for 8 months. And then in the end, nobody's going to care like a year later outside of Buffalo.
This guy had all of his kids' candy before he got here, eh?
He did.
He's wired.
No, I'm well into the crash. If I stop moving or talking, I'm falling asleep.
The Chicago situation. So I think it was 15 minutes after we finished recording last episode. Joel Quenneville finished his meeting with Gary Bettman, and it was announced that he was resigning. I mean, Hook pulling him off stage right, resigning from as head coach of the Florida Panthers. Kevin Cheveldayoff met with Gary Bettman the next day, and based on a few different things, which was how many meetings Cheveldayoff was confirmed to have attended and his role in the organization and what he knew at what point, they decided that there would be no supplemental discipline for him. And currently what's happening is Donald Fair, head of the NHLPA, is meeting with players and player reps. And his seat is hot right now for good reason. The players are livid. So,
yeah, but
which players are livid?
All, it seems. I have not heard, like, it seems to be like resounding, like the players want answers as to how this could have crossed his desk and not been addressed.
Because Donald Fair's only job is to save the players money when they get suspended for trying to kill each other. That's it. It's his only job.
I'm not going to get into litigating the rest of Fair's job and whether he's done a good or bad job. Union company battles are messy, and anyways. I don't know, like the finer details of this is still a story that's unfolding. Like, we still have John Doe 2 here. Like, there's a lot to this, and more is going to be unearthed. That's what happens when these things come out as they are. It unearths a lot of other shit that needs to be addressed. But if it actually is the case that Donald Fair had every opportunity to address this and let it ride,
smell you later.
Yeah, it's the easiest decision. I don't know. I don't know what other details there are here, but that's the easiest decision. It's dereliction of duty, bar none. It's the simplest thing, unless there's more to this that we don't know.
I also have no idea how the NHLPA is structured as an organization. Like, how many people are below him that should have been...
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Who did or did not raise alarms and try to escalate things, because I think that's ultra important, because if the people below him buried it and, like, I'll say CEOs aren't on the ground floor, like, they don't have a granular sense of how what their business is doing on a day-to-day. Like, if he had any sense of knowing, like, at all, then it is on him, because he leads the organization.
I will say, if there's any kind of reporting structure in which allegations of sexual abuse did not make it to his desk, that is also cause for fire, because that is just bad leadership.
Yeah, because the as Evan was talking, the example I was thinking of, where we'll call it like one of the people who reports to him in a somewhat position of power goes, "Hey, there was some allegations of some abuse out of Chicago. We looked into it. We don't think there's anything there, so we're not going to proceed forward." And he goes, "Okay." Then he gets to use the, "Yeah, I didn't know about it" argument. But then it's like, dude, when someone tells you there was an incident, maybe get some details. So either way, he's culpable.
I'm even torn on the Cheveldayoff thing. Like, I do understand the reasoning, but someone asked a question last episode, and it was, is this a movement? Like, is this now a moment for the NHL? And, like, hey, I'm all for looking at this with a nuanced, objective lens, and it's easy to get caught up in emotion. But I also think that this is Gary Bettman and the NHL's opportunity to say, this is the first and the last time. It's definitely not the first, but this is the last time this shit will happen. We are not protecting sexual abusers. We are not protecting rapists. We are not protecting predators in this league. It does not matter if it's anyone from league leadership to player to coach to fan to whoever. You are going to report them and you are going to get them out. I hope Kevin Cheveldayoff is part of a big change in terms of how this league changes accountability. And he is a loud, prominent voice in that. They're going to make the decision they're going to make with him. The players are going to make the decision with Donald Fair that they are. Whoever remains, whoever survives this, needs to be at the forefront of this change, because that is the absolute least that they can do for Kyle Beach and anyone else who is hurt. Another note I want to say is, last episode, I think it was an emotionally charged topic.
There are thoughts flying everywhere.
And we're very eager to talk about all of it. And I think maybe we didn't do it justice because we'd need hours. We'd need absolute hours, not even just for prep, but to record, like hours and hours and hours. So I want to say I have a lot of respect and admiration for the people who have done this well. Our friends over at the Steve Dangle podcast, I think, have done a really, really good job with that. And I don't know. It's just, you get lost in the shuffle, and all I could think about was what we said about different parts of the segment. And I was like, I hope that came across okay. And it's really just a testament to how emotionally charged this is. Like, think about it. You have 3 hockey players in here who are like absolutely blown away in the worst way by what came to light here. It's probably like, and I'm getting into semantics here, but in terms of like organization and how I felt we came through, I was like, I feel terrible about the content we put out there. Like, I really wish we were more organized, but it's genuinely a testament to how appalling it all was. So, we'll try to be more organized in the future, but genuinely, like, it's really hard to do these terrible topics the justice that they deserve, and all the power to the people who are doing it well.
There's people who are doing it way better than us. Yeah. So
Rick Westhead, like, the reporting he's doing is
we'll be footnotes incredible. In it. We'll just try and say what we can, but really all the emphasis should be put on the investigative journalists and the people who can say it a lot better than us.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not a good sign when Catherine's asking me about it, because she has...
Yeah.
The fact that she had to watch like 10 minutes of a hockey game may as well have been the end of the world.
Mel heard about it.
So the fact that she's like, what's this like blah, blah, blah going on? And I was like, the fact that you know about it is not a good sign.
And like, I don't give a shit about, like, nothing matters more than the human element here. So please know that before I say this. But what a terrible look for the NHL as they have a brand new TV deal. They're being exposed to so many more people. And this is what is going to be the biggest story of the year. And I'm glad it's going to hurt them. And I hope it stings them so that this shit never happens again. Unfortunately, the crux of all of it is money talks. And It's going to speak this time for sure.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else before we jump into overtime here? All right.
No.
Overtime on this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. I see there's a lot of Michigan State fans in here.
We will not be reading off the comments.
No, I'll read. We have to eat crow. It is what it is.
You can mute some words, literally.
I'm wearing a Detroit Lions jersey right now, so I'm fully eating crow, egg on my face, taking my punishment. That's all. That's what I'm embracing today.
The only thing that I'm grateful for is my game was an afternoon game yesterday, so I didn't have to actually suffer through it.
Thank you for being Patreon supporters. We love and appreciate you. Patreon.com/wingedwheelpodcast. I got the link right that time. We're going to start with Jake Bloom, who says 2 words, go green. They deserve it.
I am super happy you are a big supporter of the environment.
If Michigan won, I would be obnoxious today.
Oh, I absolutely would have been, but I'm also going to be obnoxious in defeat.
Elite Jeff Blashill Stan Club says University of Michigan fans are the Leafs fans of college football. I hate how accurate that is.
That is frighteningly correct.
Nick Geyer says Joe Swole Poison Veleno was absolutely on it last night. What a great game, even though we took the L. I'm getting my buddy a Kraken jersey since he's new to the sport and they're new to the league. Who on that team do you see being there long term?
Matt Beniers. go blue.
Beniers is not a bad choice there, actually.
We don't know what number he is yet, though, so you probably couldn't get it yet.
Grubauer signed long term.
Yeah.
And Yanni Gourde will probably stay a little while.
Yeah, if you're looking for someone a little younger than those guys, maybe Jared McCann, Vince Dunn. Big fans of both those guys, and they are both younger but signed for lesser. No other. Jaden Schwartz is signed for a while.
Come in. Seider says, pretty exciting to hear how well Edvinsson's doing in Sweden. Who projects to be the better defenseman in your opinion between him and Seider?
What Seider's done to this point is very few players have done. So Edvinsson's going to still have to do a lot to get to Seider's level, which is such an exciting statement.
So Edvinsson, obviously we talked about it last episode. We could talk about him every episode. Continues to thrive. Took a pretty rough hit, had to leave the game, but it seems like he maybe walked away with just a minor concussion, which is good. Mark S. says, you guys mentioned depth as the last piece for the contender puzzle. How much? Third and fourth line? Defense past the top 2 or 3 players?
Right now, I would say if you look at where players are playing in their current position out of the Red Wings depth, the only 2 players that I think are up to caliber of those slots on a team that could contend is Adam Ernie and Mitchell Stevens. I think everybody else would need to be replaced.
I also don't think it's just depth. I think you need another Larkin
We're
level
also
center.
9 games into this season.
Yeah.
The contenders have been building and building for much longer.
They still need another stud defenseman, which could be Edvinsson.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be a trade or a free agent. It could be an internal solution, and they're going to need another top flight forward still. But in terms of the depth, yeah, I'd say Ernie and Stevens could be long-term solutions in the slots they're in, but nobody else.
Brandon Taylor says, first, go green. Second, give me a guess for the following. First team to miss the playoffs within the next few seasons of these: Tampa, Colorado, Vegas, and Florida. I think the Vegas experiment's going to have to end eventually unless they get Eichel.
They don't have Stone or Pacioretty right now, and they look nobody is scoring out there.
Yeah, I think Vegas. I don't think any of them are, but I think Vegas is the best answer there.
First team to make the playoffs out of Arizona, Buffalo, Chicago, and Columbus. Ooh.
Chicago?
I don't know. I'll
Arizona, Chicago, Columbus, and who?
Buffalo. I'll go Columbus because I have a lot of faith in Yarmo.
Buffalo, let's go, baby.
Not to be funny, I'm going to say Buffalo. They have like a really, really, really good prospect pool. They've just been missing a goalie because as bad as they've been.
Granato is, like, he has that team playing at a level that they don't I shouldn't say don't deserve, because anything you get in the NHL is deserved, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They still have Cousins, Dahlin, Middlestat, Thompson, a prospect like trove coming up. They're probably going to get a haul for Eichel. Like there's a base there. It's a very, very young base.
And they only pay their team like $15 million.
And even for all the last few years when the Sabres were really, really bad, when you dig into it, they were getting goalied a lot by their own goalie. Like, that was always their biggest weakness. So if they can get, like, if Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen pans out, or Craig Anderson plays like this till he's 45 somehow, that's their biggest problem solved. So,
next question here. Ohio State is going to spank Michigan. Yeah, man, we know. Hey guys, I had the privilege of watching the Toronto game live. It was fun except for Danny DeKeyser. The dude cannot play hockey, and it's painfully obvious. My heart broke when Letty misplayed that puck. In other words, I'm going to list some current hockey players, and you tell me if they're making the Hall of Fame. Evgeny Malkin.
yes.
Tyler Seguin.
No.
Ekman Larson.
No.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yes.
Jim Harbaugh, the coach.
God, no.
Philip Grubauer.
No.
Nick Amalfi says, what a game from my paisan Joey Poison. He's definitely here to stay, right?
He should be.
I would, if Ernie gets healthy fast.
No, I'm not basing this on the roster anymore. Joe Veleno is better than half of the forwards on that team already.
They're probably at a point where they can safely wave around near Giovanni Smith if they wanted to.
Yeah, honestly, who cares if you lose him? You have literally the replacement there.
David P. says, good to see. I don't want to lose Giovanni. David P says, good to see that loss against the Leafs still resulted in a donation to Easter Seals, so it's still a positive. Go green, go white, and let's go Red Wings. That's right.
Such an environmentally friendly podcast.
We made that bet with the Steve Dangle podcast, $100 charity bet. So Easter Seals Ontario got our $100, but we'll get the Jamie Daniels Foundation the $100 next time.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to join us in the donation to the Easter Seals, go for it. Let's show those Leafs fans we're the better fan base.
Joe McKenney, PGA, says, start, scratch, cut. The start must go on the top line pairing. 2013-2014, David Legwan. 2010-2011, Mike Modano. And 2019-2020, Jonathan Ericsson.
Ericsson's cut.
Start Modano.
Yeah, absolutely. You're starting Modano.
Taylor F. also asked if Edvinson's going to be better than Seider. That's a high bar to clear.
Like, we're talking about... Can't believe I'm about to say this unironically. A guy who's like an outside shot at a Norris 9 games into his rookie season. Like,
oh, wow. So I'm not putting that juju out in the
Holy shit.
Third in assists as a rookie while playing.
What did you put in Brad's water?
He is not.
It's not in mine.
It is not going to sustain. But 10 games in, if the season ended now, he's in the conversation.
Connor Dukes says, you guys rip. Thank you. I just started listening to this. Listening this summer. Immediately became a patron because paying people for their work is rad. Connor, you're my favorite. Thanks, buddy. Welcome to the Dub Club, in case I haven't said that. Been a huge fan my whole life, but listening to you has helped me follow off-season stuff more than ever. It's tight. That said, who is your favorite band, you three? I have terrible answers to like who's your favorite band and like because I listen to so much. My generic answer is who have I listened to the most? The Beatles. But are they my favorite band to listen to right now? No.
I don't really. I like go through phases where I have bands that I'm like obsessed with for like a week, and that they stay in like the sphere of the bands I'll always like, of really like.
Yeah, I go in and out all the time. If I go by Ryan's answer of who have I listened to most in my life, it's Linkin Park.
Oh, that's a good answer, though. That's a quality answer.
Yeah, so I'll go with that just because I've been listening to them regularly since 1999. So
we should share our Spotify year in reviews.
Yeah, we should. It's just the Winged Wheel podcast.
I thought yours was going to be something Jack White related.
Jack White's for me, I consider Jack White more of a, I don't know, solo performer. Is that fair to say? No, he has a band with him.
Yeah, he's just an artist who's doing his thing.
It's really tough. Arctic Monkeys, I actually think, are sorely underrated.
That's a classic.
Yeah. Jonathan Melwich says, hey guys, apart from the Wings, who's been the most surprising team this year? Oh, Buffalo.
Yeah, that's not even a debate.
Chicago.
I don't know.
We weren't.
Hockey team. No, on ice performance.
No, but seriously, I'm not.
Like, I don't think any of us had them in the playoffs, so the fact they're bad is not that shocking.
Everyone outside of us thought they were going to be a playoff contender.
So we're the only ones who got it right. Look at that.
Yeah, we also had
we're analysts
in the Atlantic, so
yes.
the universe giveth and taketh.
Eric Sinkowski says it's amazing. Before becoming a patron, I was just like Brad, short and cranky. After becoming a patron, I'm now 6'4", less than 1% body fat, and have a hot tub. Doctors hate this podcast because of this one amazing trick. Eric, you went from Brad to Evan that fast.
And neither of us, and no one in this room is 6'4".
You're 6'3".
Okay.
Eric, thank you for just speaking pure objective truths. It means a lot to us. Evan Beckner says, hey, Ryan, I feel you on those barbershop stories. I've had similar ones. The only difference being my stylist asked if I want to cut it shorter than usual because my hair, quote, grows too fast and is hard to cut because it's too thick. Oh, piss off, Evan.
I can't.
That sounds like mine.
Wait, you're saying his hair's... Oh, no, the thick hair on this podcast is me.
He's making fun of me.
I know.
You dick out of your hands for 2
seconds. But I'm
seconds.
like, he made like this over-exaggeration that actually fit me perfectly. I just need you to know that.
Hey, are we doing Movember?
Yes, we are doing
Catherine
Movember.
hates it so much, but I love it.
Crystal hates me for it, which just makes me want to do it more.
I'm going to keep the beard, but
no!
Yeah.
That is not the rules.
You don't get to tell me about beards, Patchy. Sidney Crosby's beard does not get to tell me how.
I am not telling you about beards. I'm telling you about mustaches, and you saw mine last year. It was glorious.
Ryan, how much of a group donation would it take to the Jamie Daniels Foundation for you to do the sheriff mustache?
Oh, my God. I will personally donate $50 for you to do a handlebar.
Is $5,000 too much?
I think we could get that.
$5,000?
Well, no, that is a lot.
But here's the thing.
That is a ridiculous
We're not
sum
getting
of
that
money.
by tomorrow, and you have to start tomorrow. So it's got to be something attainable. Because November 1st is tomorrow.
What if you did chin straps without the middle?
My God. I do have a
goatee?
job.
Yeah.
You work from home.
I'm on screen.
That means people see your face more on
Files
screen.
are in the computer. We can workshop this. We can workshop this. We can work with something here. Let's turn this into something good. Let's figure out.
It's for a good cause.
Yeah. And
prick.
I'm trying to figure out a sum of money. I want to raise more for the Jamie Daniels Foundation. So we have to work with timelines here. Even if at the end, I do the handlebars at the end.
Yeah, no, his at the end. Oh, it's
Then you have to keep it. Then you have
6 p.m. November 30th.
Then you have to keep it for Christmas, which would disappoint your mother even more than your lack of med school.
$100 if you do that. I'll personally put in 100.
All right, fine, but you have to be the one to tell my mother in person why it's happening.
Gladly.
Misconduct Racing says the unselfish team first mentality of even our budding star players is why we're going back to the promised land. If we keep up this lovable loser identity for the rest of the year, it'll start to make all these years of pain seem worth it. Aaron Hudson says, hey, Evan, how about this? If the Wings make the playoffs, record a pod from the hot tub, or if the Wings win the draft lottery.
I've been asking to do this every week, twice a week.
No, all three of us.
Oh no,
Sorry, what was
absolutely
that?
not.
If the Wings make the playoffs or win the draft lottery, we do a hot tub pod.
Yes.
We can watch the draft from the hot tub.
We got invited!
Wait, we're in Montreal for the draft.
Oh, you guys are.
Andy Van Dierendonk says, although I want the Wings to take center in the upcoming draft, if we keep playing close to 500 and the lottery doesn't end in our favor as always, we might lose out on some centers like Wright, Lambert, Cooley. In that case, would you like the Wings to take a star player like Joachim Kemmel? He's lighting it up in the league in Liga and could pan out to be a strong scorer down the road.
Ryan, what am I going to say?
I don't know.
Best player available.
Best player available.
Always.
I knew it. Yeah.
Always.
Arjun Shanker says, geez, that sure was a rough handful of years there when the Red Wings hockey wasn't fun to watch. I still can't believe that Yzerman traded the idea of Jonathan Bernier for Alexei Dukovic. Max $1 million says, if each of you had a 4+ hour car ride with CVY, what would you talk about? What music would you both be jamming out to? And essentially, what would be your dream road trip with the captain?
I have this feeling that it would just be dead silence.
And
we both enjoy it way too much.
Yeah.
I feel like Yzerman's listened to at least one podcast, so I would sit there, open my mouth, and he'd just go, stop.
No.
Just no.
That's not what we're doing. Apparently, he and Joe listened to the football game, the Michigan MSU game.
Oh, no.
And I believe Stevie is on the side of blue here, so I'm not sure how that... I don't know that for sure.
Stevie's good people, so it would make sense that he's on the side of blue.
Liz B says, is Rasmussen the forward version of Eriksson? I don't think that's a fair assessment, honestly.
Rasmussen is really good at the things he's good at.
Eriksson was not.
There's just so few of the things he's good at, which is the problem.
They've been in the league the same amount of time.
What?
That's a joke.
Oh.
It just feels like Rasmussen's been on the team for 12 years.
Yeah, that was actually a funny joke, and I just completely pulled
It's
the
okay.
floor out from
It's
me.
late.
Ben Barron says, how do you feel about a potential future Veleno, Larkin, Raymond line for games in Canada?
Great.
I don't know if Veleno can... I would much rather have Fabry or even Zadina on that line.
I want Zadina there. That's my choice. But if I had the choice between Fabry and Veleno, let's have some fun.
Larkness Monster says, what do you think the strategy is this year at the deadline? Are the Red Wings seller, or are they finally at the place to start targeting some low-risk, high-reward free agents?
They're still a seller. Even if the Red Wings are in a playoff race, nobody's going to have any illusions about them being a contender. So you're not going to keep Robbie Fabry and Nick Leddy for an extra month or two just to get wiped in the first round of the playoffs, even if that's best case scenario. Like, pragmatically, yeah, you still need the futures because Leddy and Fabry, in all likelihood, are not going to factor into much of the future. So you still got to make the smart decision.
Michael Berry says, Brad's looking swole since starting professional beer league. Also, you can take, and this is Michael giving some advice to any Canadians coming to the meetup. As of now, you can take a PCR test in Canada, then come back into the country within 3 days since the test was taken. Cost him $150 Canadian. Also, do the Lions win a game this year? Oh, God, I hope not. I hope not. I want the first overall pick firm, sealed.
You want to be the only team in NFL history to be 0-17?
I don't give a shit, man. You have to understand there's no way you can hurt me as a Lions fan.
Yeah,
I'm wearing their jersey after what happened today.
I don't follow the NFL draft all that closely. Is there like a clear-cut number one guy?
I don't know.
Because if there's not
does
a
it
clear
matter?
No.
if there's not a clear-cut number one guy, I don't know if I'd want to live with the memes.
They're going to exist anyways, man. The Lions and their inexplicable ability. Here's the thing. Lions fans are super upset about this year. And all of them knew that this was a throwaway year. They're essentially burning whatever time they have to on Jared Goff until they can cut his contract. They were never meant to be good, and everyone is still disappointed.
Well, the part that confuses me about the Lions is they can go down to the last play of the game with a very good Ravens team and then get blown out by the dumpster fire of the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's Lions football, baby.
like,
Buckle up. Babe Landeskog says, what would be your goal song and or home win song if you got to choose? For me, it would be We Are Who We Are by Kesha or the Chunk No Captain Chunk cover and the Jellyfish Jam Stadium Rave song from SpongeBob for the home win. I don't know. I think like it's hard.
I actually don't have an answer for this.
There are a lot of like really people would probably hate it. Like the music I listen to when I'm in the gym, like trap remixes, like hardcore trap remixes. It's just garbage music. It's for sure trash music, but that's what I would want for a goal song. Like
So,
at the drop.
it depends what angle I want to go into. So, like, if I wanted to go...
angles.
Because if I wanted to go to, like, classic, like, hockey, like, what's just a good goal song, I would go Song 2 by Blur. Because it just fits the
That's a good
situation so perfectly. If I wanted to go for the vibes, I would go Fire by Paris, just because I love that song, even if it doesn't fit a goal song perfectly. Or if I wanted to just go something like really amped up, I'm just picking the heaviest song on my playlist at any given moment. So like right now, I'd pick something by like Of Mice and Men or something like that, because I've been listening to them a lot lately.
Have you read the book? Have you?
No.
I was wondering, this isn't a trick question.
No, it's not. It's like it's one of the most popular pieces of literature of all time.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Afternoon matinee game, Afternoon Delight. That's my goal song.
Oh, I thought you were still talking about. I think you must have read it in school. This is the cover. You see that?
That is the smallest.
Oh, you were
possible
talking about the literal book.
That's
no,
why I said book.
God damn. I'm like, did they release an album that I
Oh,
missed or something like
Jesus
that?
Christ,
This guy.
It's too late for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10:30 on a Sunday, man. I'm not piecing shit together. I read in grade
It's
7.
like my Rasmussen joke all
Yeah.
over again.
Nick Putty, sorry, I missed the question here. Is just going back to the whole mess with the Blackhawks with my girls U8 team. In order for me to coach, I needed to do a 2-hour safe sport training and then another 45-minute refresher every year. Covers how to watch for and or report all types of harassment caused to players and or coaches, caused by players and or coaches. It's a requirement by USA Hockey in order to roster a team and compete. It's expected of me and other coaches with varying backgrounds, and it should go without saying at the professional level, yet here we are. Third man in says, out of curiosity, how'd you all end up Michigan fans? Since to my knowledge, none of you went there, you've purposely chosen to root for a team whose glory days were in the 30s and 40s, that always chokes to their rivals on the big stage and that has blue as a primary cover. You realize you've hitched your wagons to the Toronto Maple Leafs with college football, right?
Listen,
I don't need all
every decision I made
understand.
when I was a teenager wasn't great, and I accept that, but I will ride till I die.
Sadly, I agree with Brad. Stay Fresh Cheesebag says, hey fellas, I'd like to congratulate MSU on their big win over Michigan. Mel Tucker is a solid coach who will guarantee 10 wins and a playoff berth next season for LSU or Washington State. Hopefully MSU can recoup some semblance of relevance over there at Cal College after Kenneth Williams declares for the draft. Maybe a better branding campaign? Anywho, sending an early season's greetings to all MSU fans as they now begin their annual practice of complete silence after the Michigan game each year. Happy holidays, fartins! Thanks, Joseph.
We needed that.
Large, the prophet of the Tavern Behemoth, says Jonathan Berggren has had himself a 1+1 game versus Milwaukee. How ready are you to completely jump on the Edvinsson hype train? For London veteran, Ryan Lash dubbed him the best defender he's ever played with, and yes, he did play with Rasmus Dahlin. The thought that Edvinsson is better than Dahlin in Seider is pretty much insane, considering how depleted the prospect pool was just recently these last 4-ish years.
I mean, I would say a current teammate is better than an old teammate 9 times out of 10, probably.
Yeah.
It's worth saying, yeah.
But the Edvinsson hype train has been...
I'm on board.
It's left the station.
Yes.
Let's remind everyone that I was the only one who had him on my preferred picks.
You 100% did.
I thankfully, so I don't look completely terrible in hindsight, was not the lowest on him and still had him inside my top 10.
I can't even remember that far. That's the only reason why I remember.
Sam W says, obviously a Wings fan and a big fan of Mo Seider, but as someone who follows the US NTDP, I was a big fan of Cole Caulfield going into that draft. I'm sort of superstitious, and I have this little routine before his games that seems to translate to success. I haven't been doing it this year, and I want to see him get off the schneid. So if he has a big day today, I guess we'll know why. Here's to him joining the race with Seider and Raymond. I like watching Cole Caulfield play.
He's fun. He gives us short guys hope. What was that? So he did a superstition for Caulfield today?
Yeah.
All right, let's see if it worked. I haven't checked on that game yet.
Bill Nye the Thigh Guy says, one under and overrated candy. Overrated has to be Butterfingers.
It didn't.
Overrated answer will be Skittles because they changed lime to green apple however many years ago, and I'll never forgive them. Underrated, Mike and Ike's.
Man, I love Coffee Crisp. Are they underrated?
The Americans will know what Coffee Crisp are.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
That's the answer then. They're underrated. That's one of the greatest chocolate bars there is.
And America knows their candy.
Coffee Crisp is one of Canada's best exports, if you can get it.
Yeah, then that's the
Are there
answer.
ketchup chips in the States?
They're starting to get them now, yeah.
Oh, another great export.
All dressed as well. They're just starting to get over there. They didn't have it for a long time.
Not the land
Country's
free, am
lacking.
I right?
We sent Max a box of
That's right.
I think I'm going to go with you on your Skittles one, though.
Why would... Oh, man. George P. Burdell says, friendship ended with Joe effing Veleno. Joe Poison is my new friend. Eddie Vollett says, I unfortunately attended... Oh, buddy. I attended my first Lions game today, and I don't think I'll be returning anytime soon. The Ford family is listening to this going, damn it. Jeff Blashill's third period playbook says, let's take the worst defenseman on the team and staple him to the best defenseman on the team. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
I think I read a thing.
But yeah.
So I went on Twitter once this week, and I read a thing that said Seider and Leddy are one of the best pairings in the league based on some sort of advanced metric.
Yep.
I think I have to imagine they're just stapling Seider to DeKeyser as long as they can justify DeKeyser on this team, and then they'll release Seider.
I'm telling you, it's a Stonecutters reference.
Join the Dark Sider says, thanks for the content as always. Which wing, in your opinion, is having a sneaky good year? For me, it's Nemesnikov with 6 points, 4 goals, and 2 assists. He can actually beat a goalie this season.
Philip Zadina.
I'm going to keep on the Robbie Fabry train. And I don't think the goalies are getting enough love for what they're doing.
They've each had a couple blow-up games.
As you will on the Detroit Red Wings, but
I really did not love Grace's game yesterday.
No.
Mark Stahl's the greatest Red Wing on this team.
Ironically, cheering for Mark Stahl is arguably the most fun thing to do right
He
now.
could be my next jersey potentially, and I don't take that. That is a bold statement.
If Mark Stahl steps in at the top of the circle and absolutely claps one bar down, that is going to be in the checkout on NHLshop.com immediately.
I'll buy them all out.
Yeah, because they have
I'll corner the market.
They only have one pre-made.
Yes.
And they have Stahl misspelled. It's Stall. Good enough.
Is this a joke?
Evan thinks that's how you actually spell it.
Oh, buddy.
Did you say LL or AAL?
I said LL.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got that one.
All right. As we're falling apart at the seams here, we're going to wrap up this episode of the Winged Wheel podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for putting up with the whatever happened at the beginning of this episode. Yeah.
If we ever have to apply to jobs in the future, we will make this episode private for a few weeks.
This is why I don't tell anyone I do a podcast.
I'd like to thank all of our listeners, our name level sponsors, Kyle Karagitz, Nick Perks, Brett Bailey, Terry Driver of Crying Ryan, Hannah's Banana Slam Jamathon, Taylor Tagel, Matthew M. Rice, Arjun Shanker, and Eves Bartels on behalf of the Sarah Grand Foundation. Actually, I should have said first, sorry. Brandon M., Carl Brutanen, Analuski, Citizen High Five, CJ Sully, Clayton Van Dyken, Craig Kibble, Derek Enstum, DJ Denton. Brendan, you almost got me. Eating something is fun, and I'll let you all fill in the blanks there. Give Blood, Fight Probert, Greach, Hana Lee, Hassam Al-Qassem, Jacob Turner, Jake Kiefer, Jeremiah Dobo, Justin and the Angry Mob, Kalen Wood, King Tone, Cody Stark, Kyle Hashman, Matt McKay, R.A., Ryan Hubbard, Scott Martin, Stay Fresh Cheesebags, Shay Lobsinger's #1 stan, Stacy Lynn, Zach Spring, Andrew Bohan, Sam Bankson, Adam, I wish I could finish like Ernie, Antonio Gracias, Babe Landeskog, Ben Barron, Booty Pasta, Colorado 14ers, Connor Leighton, Dave W., Evans Bingo Card, Jeremy Brocker, John Evans, Josh Yelton, Kevin McCracken, Quaz, Matt Keeler, Matt S., Max $1 Million, Reed, Revi DeLuca, Trevor Pevavar, Zach Handyside, and Zach McCann, a driving range superstar. Thank you all so much. We'll talk to you midweek.
Thanks for tuning in to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Be sure to check out wingedwheelpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll also find links to other ways to support the show, such as Patreon, official podcast apparel, and more. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at Winged Wheel Pod. And of course, the hosts at Brad Crisco, at Ryan Hanna WWP, and at Hockey Town Evan.